name is Lisa and I'm the Viet Vegan because I'm Vietnam vegan, and yes, I am wearing the same outfit for 3 videos. All on the same day. Today we're making a hot pot and it is going to be a very delicious time. Earlier today, it was brought to my attention that there are different kinds of hot pot, and I don't even know what kind of hot pot this is. This is basically just like the hot pot that my mom would make as a kid. So I guess it's Vietnamese style hot pot, but it has like a lot of Chinese elements to it. So yeah, it's just gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a tasty time. We're gonna make the broth from scratch. There are a lot of hot pot pre-made blocks that you can just melt into your soup. That's delicious and that's great. If you can find a vegan one, super duper. But a lot of them have oyster sauce, a lot of them have fish sauce, a lot of them have like different seafoody type things. Obviously we're not doing that today. I have 6 liters of water here. I'm making a big batch of broth. It's the same ingredients, you just make more water. You cook it a little bit longer, but then you have more for later. I anticipate having hot pot in the future. So we have a bunch of like main core ingredients here. The thing that typically gives hot pot its flavor is meat, or pork bones, or pork hock, ham hock. I don't even know. I don't know meat things anymore. It's been a minute. So instead we're using mushrooms. So these are dried mushrooms. I think they're like dried flower mushrooms. I have soaked them and rinsed them twice because the first couple times they kind of like let off a weird kind of stink. You don't have to use these mushrooms. I've seen the mushrooms at Costco. You can use those ones, like those dried mushrooms from Costco. You just use the same amount. So we're just gonna pop all of that into the water. We also have some corn. That might be a weird thing to add into your broth, but it actually adds a lot of sweetness that is really tasty. So this is what my mom always puts in her soup. So we're gonna get some corn in there, some daikon, again for some sweetness and flavor. Next we've got some carrots, color, flavor, sweetness, all that jazz. We also have some ginger here. So that's about like 3 inches. We have onions. This is 2 smallish medium onions. I wanted to put more in, but I don't have that many more. And then this is the tops of some lemongrass. So this is 3 stalks of lemongrass, the tops cut, and so the bottoms, which are like more tender, I'm gonna use for the oil that is used in the hot pot. So I've sliced those into halves and then sliced them really thin, and then I'm gonna process them. I'll show you that process in a second. But the top half is kind of more woody and you can't really eat it, but it's really, really flavorful. So you're gonna add it to your soup. Just kind of wash them really well, and they're gonna infuse that with some good flavor, you know what I'm saying? That is all going to go on the stove and cook for about an hour. You can put this in the Instant Pot and like Instant Pot it for like half an hour. It'll just take a little bit longer to like come to pressure because there's like a lot more liquid, but it will be good. So we're gonna put this on the stove. So while that's over there, I'm going to quickly process the oil, so like the aromatics for the oil. For this we have our lemongrass. So this is lemongrass that I've chopped into sort of like half moon slices, and you wanna chop them as thin as possible because if you don't, then when it separates in the food processor, it'll separate like vertically, right? So it'll be as long as the pieces that you cut it, and the bigger the pieces are, the harder it is to eat. Lemongrass isn't really like a pleasant texture, but if you cut it small enough, then it just kind of like melts into the background of everything else. Here we have 9 cloves of garlic. You can use 8 or 9, doesn't really matter. It's full more flavor. If you like garlic, add more. Such an aggressive pot. None of my other pots are this loud. Simmer down pot. We're gonna blend this. Just kidding, it's not plugged in. Okay, we're gonna process this really quickly. I've had a lot of people ask me about whether or not a food processor is worth it. I have had this guy for like 6 years, I think. He's excellent. He's a very good friend of mine. I use him quite often. I'll link him in my Amazon shop down below if you guys haven't seen that already. Okay, so you wanna process that fairly fine. And the reason why you process it is because this is what's gonna be like the topper for your soup. You're gonna cook the oil separately, and then you're gonna heat through those aromatics in the oil. Oh my God, it smells so good already. I'm gonna scoop that back into a little bowl here. So you've got like small pieces of everything. You're gonna transfer that to a bowl, because at a later point you're going to cook this in oil, but we're gonna wait a little bit longer because that needs to do its thing. What my mom does is she processes this in like a large batch, and then she just freezes it so that whenever she wants to use it, she just uses some. If you wanna even hack it even further, you can freeze them and like press them into ice cubes, and then freeze them in ice cubes and then put them away. But garlic will discolor a little bit, but it's fine. That's all gonna go into our soup later. We're gonna have some excellent breath, clearly. So I'll see you when that's all ready. While I was cooking this, I realized that the amount of water to the main ingredients was way too much. So I ended up adding all 5 pieces of the corn. I added some more mushrooms and I just let it cook for a lot longer. While that's cooking, I'm gonna fry up the aromatics. So this is the lemongrass and the garlic mixture, and then I add some paprika, and then you basically just cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes until the garlic is like really fragrant. You don't want to burn it. If you want it to be spicy, this is where you would add the chili flakes to the garlic and the lemongrass mixture to fry and infuse in the oil. And then that infuses the oil with all that garlicky flavor, and then you add your broth to that oil mixture. So as you can see, I have made that mixture, and honestly, I was gonna split up the oil and like the aromatic mixture between this broth and the broth that I have left in here. Because we're kind of short on time, I kind of just like stop this early, but I gotta let this keep on cooking on the side, because the longer it cooks, the more like aromatic it will be. It is very tasty now, but I also flavored it up with some mushroom broth powder. If you guys haven't seen that before, I use it all the time. It's just a granulated broth powder. It's like a bouillon. It's really common in Vietnamese dishes. Typically it's like chicken powder or broth, pork powder, but this is the mushroom one. So I use it all the time. So anyway, this is basically the setup for the hot pot, and I'm not really gonna eat much on the video here today as a taste test, but I'm gonna have a little bit just so you guys can see what's happening, because we have a mukbang on Janelle's channel. If you guys don't know who Janelle is, she is one of my best friends. She was my maid of honor. She is fantastic, and she's finally starting a YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check her channel out, I'll leave the link down below in the corner. And anyway, that mukbang will be live on her channel. So go click on over there to see us eat and talk about some stuff about friendship, about most embarrassing moments, about body neutrality and feminism and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know, we haven't filmed that yet, so you'll just have to wait and see what we talk about. Without further ado, let's turn this on. So the magic of hot pot is that everything cooks in one pot and it just gets magical and delicious the longer it cooks. So there are a few tools that you need that are crucial for a successful hot pot. You need one of these. This is a spider basket. I'm pretty sure I have this linked in my Amazon if you want, but you can just go to your local Asian grocery store and they will have these in their like utensil section. So that really helps with the scooping. Here we have a couple different kinds of noodles. I have bean thread noodle here. I didn't make this very spicy, but you can make it spicy if you want to. Actually, I didn't make it spicy at all because I just didn't really feel like it, but you can add spice if you want to. So I have some vermicelli bean thread here. I've soaked it for about 10 minutes first so that it won't just soak up all the water that's in there. That way it's like kind of half cooked, you know? We also have some udon noodles. We have some shirataki noodles. It's just kind of like a fun texture. I just thought I'd, you know, vary it up, but a lot of people don't like eating a lot of noodles with their hot pot because it takes up more space that they could fill with other stuff. So here I have some yu choy, some pea shoot leaves, and some mung bean sprouts. That's for a little freshness, for a little deliciousness. What Janelle and I are really excited about is this plate of mushrooms. As you guys know, Eddie doesn't really like mushrooms, so I don't get a lot of opportunities to eat mushrooms, but I love mushrooms, okay? So we have here some Enoki mushrooms, which are these like kind of thin, stringy, alien-like ones. They have such a fun texture. They will definitely get stuck in your teeth, but it's a good time either way. King oyster mushrooms that I've cut down into, like, I've cut them in half and then I've sliced them kind of thin. So we have like some ones with the mushroom tops and then some from like the stem of the mushroom. This is a really good mushroom. We have some shimeji mushrooms here. So delicious. I love these guys. They're such a fun texture. And we have some black oyster mushrooms, which I haven't really done anything with. Any of the big ones I cut in half, but I was actually pretty lazy and I kind of left them as they are. They just are so delicious, and as you cook, they'll add a really nice meatiness to the broth that is just enhancing the meatiness that's already there. The umami. On this plate is the fun plate. We have some vegan shrimp. We have some vegan fish. So it's basically like soy seitan sort of product that's sort of like wrapped in nori to give it that fishy flavor. We have some okra here. I've just rinsed them and I've left the tops on because if you cook them without their tops on, they'll kind of like make it kind of slimy. We don't want that. And we have, of course, puffy tofu, because puffy tofu in soup is just so delicious. And then over here, we have something, I haven't really tried using this in hot pot before, but I have this on soup sometimes at Saigon Lotus, and it's bean curd sheets. So they're just really thin pieces of like yuba basically. And when you put them in soup, actually let's give it a try right now. When you put it in soup, it kind of like gets soft and like squishy. I don't know how to describe it in a more appetizing manner, but that's where we are. Yeah, so it's kind of like a soy noodle, and it kind of keeps its texture a little bit. So it kind of softens and then gets this like fun texture. Oh yeah, that's a good time. Mmm, so fun. So you basically just put everything in. Because it's all vegan, you don't really have to wait for the meat to be fully cooked. With hot pot, typically when you're like cooking, you want to cook your meat and your vegetables kind of separate so that like there's like a divider, and the meat side you like wait till all that's cooked. And on the vegetable side, you can eat that right away. We don't have to worry with that because everything's vegan. Oh, I'm so excited. I do want a little bit of the broth, and I just want to taste it. Okay, I'm gonna taste the broth. It's like such a really good broth. This is actually the same sort of broth that I would use for bung bao we. So if you guys have been waiting for my bung bao recipe, this is the recipe. I just don't have like the stuff that's in it, but this is the broth, if that helps you in any way. Yes. Oh, this is gonna be a good time. This is not really something that happens a lot in Vietnamese hot pot, but we have some dipping sauces. So this is some roasted sesame seed paste that Janelle's gonna use to dip. It's kind of like peanut butter, but it's like a little bit like deeper in flavor. It's like tahini, but like deeper because it's roasted. And then this is the spicy dipping sauce that I found at Nations. If you guys wanna see that grocery haul, I'll link it in the corner, but I'm really excited to try this to dip my vegetables in. So that's the video. This steaming pot of hot pot is going to be consumed in our mukbang video, so be sure to check that out. If you have any other questions, let me know down below. I'll probably reduce the recipe to be only like 4 liters instead of the 6 liters that I use because that's a lot of liquid and you probably don't want that much hot pot. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit because that's a little crazy. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you guys like recipes like this, be sure to like, comment, let me know. Because your feedback is very important to me and it helps me figure out what you guys want. And subscribe if you haven't already. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you guys have a delicious day. Bye-bye. Hello, my name is Lisa and I'm the Viet Vegan because I'm Vietnam Vegan and I'm born this video in 3... Wait, born this video. I'm so tired. Okay. So dead. Garlic and lemongrass, my favorite flavor combination.